Hello and welcome back to MJM Detailing Diaries, where today we're going to have a look at 3 interior dressings, inside job from Bouncers. We've got the ODK Cabin and the Duel Satin, which I've reviewed on the channel before. So we'll switch over to the car. In the interest of time, I've split the screen down into 4 and gone through the cleaning down of the plastics and the application of the dressings as quickly as possible, because I thought he wants to sit and watch Matt apply APC and clean plastics down for too long. So just to give you a heads up, I used 2 sprays of each of the products into the application sponge and wiped into the plastic areas before giving a buff off. Each of the products have their own application sponge. As you can see in the top video, you can see me flicking in and out of those. So it's all fair, and what we really want to find out here is how well do these products perform when laid down on the plastics in the Passat, and then how well do they look against each other once they've been put down. We're nearly to the end of this cleaning down process and application process. We'll be able to get into the car and have a look around and see just how good these products look when they're put to the test. So coming back to the boot area, that's where we put the satin. You can see the visible difference depending on the light from where the Bouncers was. Slightly glossier, shinier finish than what the Bouncers has given us, which is very, very close to what the original plastic would have been. And then you can just about make out that line there where the cabin's gone down, so you can see that there is a darkening effect to the cabin as well. And it's hard to say, but on here I don't think there's really much difference between the cabin and the satin. Try and catch it at different light angles. There we go, that's the cabin. Moving on to the inside job from Bouncers, and then finally onto the satin from Duel. Okay, so we'll walk around to that door card over here. So here we go. That was where the satin went on. Visible darkening, mildly shiny effect on that door card, but not much more than what the Bouncers done. The Bouncers isn't quite as dark, seems to give a closer to OEM finish. And then in with the cabin, which again, between that and the satin, to eyes off the camera, it's slightly less glossy, but not much to call in it. So we'll walk around the other side. There we are, so on the dash. The satin, it looks shiny in the sunlight. Okay. So it's more glossy than that of what the Bouncers are giving. And then the cabin is the darkening, but without that glossy effect that you're getting off of the satin. There's the satin at the end. So you can see the difference between the 3, depending on the material you're applying it to. And here's that door card that I've just done. Okay, so it's the cabin. You can see the Bouncers in the middle, and then over at the side there's the satin, and really and truly on that, there's nothing to call between them. Doesn't seem to be much of a difference. So that about sums it up for these 3. I bought and paid for all of these myself, and price wise there's not much to choose between them. So let's start off with the Duel Satin. Okay, this one is £8.95 from the Duel website, and the key characteristics of it are that it offers a slight cleaning ability as well as the dressing, and you saw when I put it down that it does offer a darkening effect, and that, although they say is going to be a OEM satin finish, I find is slightly glossy when in comparison with the other 2. It's not horrific by any stretch of the imagination. I actually really quite like it, but perhaps not up on the dashboard when against the other 2. This boasts anti-static properties, it boasts UV protection, it boasts that cleaning power. So it's a really good all-rounder. The lime scent in it makes it really fresh to use as well, and you can really smell it. And the other benefit of it is that it's not greasy or horrible. And if you open your door when it's been raining, you don't get those horrible white mark runs that you used to traditionally get with interior dressings. So Duel Satin, really good all-rounder, slightly glossy, darkening effect. Next we'll move on to the Bouncers inside job. I paid £9.95 for this from Jake Lynch at the Motor Spa. This one very similar to Satin in its setup. It's anti-static, it's got UV protection, This one is water-based. I don't know about satin, but this one is certainly water-based. And it says that it's got a citrus scent, but it doesn't really come out when you're using it. It's there, but it kind of isn't. Key characteristics of the inside job are that it leaves a very, very close to OEM finish. It's not shiny, it's not glossy. It's a really nice, stable matte finish, and I absolutely love that when laying it down. There is a big difference up here on the dashboard between the inside job and the Duel Satin. So this one, overall, I really enjoyed using. Cost-wise, it's close to the others, and it offers very similar properties, some cleaning ability as well. So yeah, inside job, cracking products, closer to the OEM finish than the Duel Satin, and certainly not anywhere near as glossy. And then finally, we've got the ODK Cabin. So ODK Cabin, 10 quid for 500ml. Got this from Jake Lynch at the Motor Spa on the Speed 6 day, actually. Let's talk about this. Its lime and cranberry scent is awesome. By far and away the best smelling of the three products. Okay, this one again boasts anti-static properties and UV protection, but like the other two, it doesn't say that it's got any cleaning ability, and ODK do produce a separate interior cleaner for use before this. So cost effective wise, could be considered to be not quite as cost effective as the other two, because they're going to do a bit of cleaning as well. ODK Cabin, when you lay it down, it definitely gives a darkening effect. So it's darker than the inside job and probably as dark as the satin. Key difference between this and the satin is that I found this to be a little bit more of a matte finish. It's a flatter, darker finish than that sort of slightly glossy finish that you get with the Duel Satin. So again, ODK has done really well. I really like using it, and each of these products are different in their own right. So which one of them's best? Well, that's kind of impossible. There is no best out of these three. Very much down to personal preference. And the other thing as well is the substrate that you're putting them on. You saw around the car, in some places it was really hard to tell the difference between them, but in some places, like up on the dash and on the door cards, you can really see that difference between the products. And it's horses for courses. So what would I say? Try them out, give them each a go. As you run low on one, try a different one and see what you think about it. Be interesting to hear your feedback in the comments below, and just really understand more about what people's preferences are around these types of dressings. Certainly up on your dashboards, the Bouncer's inside job, particularly in my Passat here, is by far and away what I would choose over the other two. But down on the door cards and things, I like the finish that the Cabin and the Satin give, and I would use them interchangeably. I don't really have a preference out of them. So the dashboard did make the big difference, and the Bouncers for me made that dashboard just not have that sort of shine and that gloss to it. Of all of them, the closest to OEM is the inside job. The most darkening but matte is the ODK, and the darkening with the gloss and that kind of just a slight sheen to it is the Satin. And again, it's all down to your personal preference, and that kind of sums it up. They're all in the same price bracket. They all do a mildly different job. Two of them offer a cleaning ability over one that doesn't specify it, but they all give that anti-static property. They all give that UV protection, the kind of stuff that you'd be looking for when you're applying this type of product. And that kind of rounds it up for today. If you like what you've been watching, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and a like, and we'll produce more content like this in the future. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.